The first signal wasn't meant for us. It came wrapped in layers of static, faint pulses of energy hidden within the cosmic noise. Astronomers at the Arecibo Successor Array thought it was a glitch, nothing more than a ghost of interference from Earth's own satellites. But as the hours passed, patterns emerged. The transmission repeated at precise intervals. The sequence was unmistakably deliberate: mathematics, prime numbers, and eventually language. The problem was simple. The message wasn't addressed to Earth.
It was a misfire.
A communication meant for another species, somewhere out there in the dark. A beacon call, perhaps a diplomatic greeting, or a distress signal. But when the call spilled into our corner of space, Earth couldn't resist. We answered. And that changed everything. The beginning, a mistake heard around the world. Dr. Aisha Moreno was the first to decode the opening fragments. A linguist who specialized in xenolinguistics, a field mocked by most as science fiction, she had been waiting her entire career for this moment. The message was a carefully structured introduction, but the coordinates embedded within told a strange story. It wasn't aimed at Earth at all. It was aimed at a star system 50 light-years away. "We weren't supposed to hear this," she told her colleagues in hushed disbelief. "It's like we picked up a phone call meant for someone else." By the time the world's governments were briefed, the choice had already been made. Against the protests of the cautious, Earth sent a reply. It was simple, elegant, human. "We hear you." The middle, when the galaxy knocked back. For months, silence followed. Humanity returned to its endless squabbles, politics, economics, border disputes. The signal was pushed into conspiracy corners online, dismissed by skeptics, until the sky tore open. The ship arrived over Mars first, a massive construct of impossible geometry, edges folding against themselves in ways human eyes struggled to follow. Every attempt to hail it was ignored. Earth's governments panicked, assuming invasion. Military fleets scrambled. But before a single missile could be armed, the vessel spoke, not to Earth, but to the emptiness beyond. The message wasn't for us. It was furious. A booming voice carried across radio and digital bands in every language simultaneously, a tone that vibrated with authority. "This system was not yours to answer. The covenant is broken." Dr. Moreno was summoned to the UN Assembly, thrust into the heart of chaos. Translation confirmed their worst fears. By replying to the signal, humanity had inserted itself into an ancient conversation between civilizations far older and far stronger than anything Earth could comprehend. We had tripped into a battlefield not with weapons, but with words. And the galaxy was listening. The rising conflict, humanity's unexpected role. Within weeks, other ships appeared. Some vast and ornate, others sleek and lethal. The Sol system became contested ground, alien emissaries arriving to debate, to threaten, to demand answers. From their fragmented transmissions, humanity learned the truth. The first message had been a diplomatic envoy between two great powers, the Valerie Concord and the Tyran Dominion. One side had sought to negotiate peace. The other had sought dominance. By intercepting and replying, Earth had unknowingly claimed stake in the dispute. To withdraw now was impossible. Our single phrase, "We hear you," had been interpreted as alliance, as witness, as potential partner. A civilization of billions, armed with nothing compared to the weapons these beings carried, had been thrust into galactic politics. Most believed Earth would be crushed, that the great powers would silence the upstart species daring to speak out of turn. But then something happened the aliens did not expect. Humanity fought back, not with fleets, but with ingenuity. Hackers from Sao Paulo breached alien transmission relays, understanding patterns even their creators had overlooked. Engineers in Tokyo deciphered propulsion equations buried in alien schematics and began replicating them in Earth labs. Soldiers, diplomats, scientists, ordinary men and women stood against species that had ruled the stars for millennia. And in every confrontation, humanity did something the others never anticipated. We adapted. Turning point. The weapon they didn't see. The Tyrant Dominions sought to make an example of us. A fleet descended, dark as obsidian, weapons bristling with energies that could shear continents apart. Mars was their target, a symbolic execution ground for Earth's arrogance. But the Dominion didn't understand what it meant to fight humans. The first strike should have annihilated the fledgling colony. Instead, the Martian defense grid, cobbled together from scavenged satellites, repurposed mining lasers, and sheer desperation, held longer than it should have. Engineers rerouted life support systems into weapons. Farmers turned greenhouses into barracks. Hackers forced Dominion drones to turn on their masters. By the time Earth's hastily armed ships arrived, the Tyrants were already bleeding. Humanity had shown something the galaxy hadn't seen in centuries. Raw, unyielding defiance. "We don't break," Captain Marcus rebroadcasted as his carrier rammed a Dominion warship at suicidal velocity. "Not when the stakes are survival. Not when the fight is for all of us." The galaxy heard, and something shifted. The climax, humanity's voice. The Valerie Concord, amused and impressed, offered Earth an unthinkable proposition, a seat at the table. Not as equals, not yet, but as disruptors, a wild card. Humanity's reckless defiance had value. The Concord knew the Tyrants feared us, not for our strength, but for our unpredictability. Dr. Moreno became humanity's voice. Standing in a council chamber orbiting a dying star, she faced beings older than recorded history. She did not beg for mercy, nor apologize for answering the wrong call. "We were never meant to be part of this war," she said, her voice steady as translators hummed around her. "But we're here now. And if the galaxy demands our silence, then it will never find peace, because humanity will answer every call." Silence followed. Then, slowly, deliberately, the Concord bowed their heads. The Tyrants, unwilling to escalate, withdrew. Not out of respect, but out of fear that every attempt to crush humanity would only make us stronger. The ending, a new signal. Years later, the stars above Earth were no longer empty. Human ships, hybrids of alien and Earth technology, patrolled the edges of Sol. The colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan thrived, carrying with them the unshakable spirit of those who had fought back against impossible odds. And then, one night, a new signal was received. Not from the Concord, not from the Tyrants, not from any known civilization. The message was simple, curious, almost innocent. "We hear you." Dr. Moreno stared at the waveform, heart pounding. Humanity had become part of something larger, something endless. The galaxy was vast, and our role in it had only just begun. For better or worse, the universe now knew. When the wrong number is dialed, humanity always answers.